Good morning, fellow Americans. This is Ray Barnes, the feral artist. I just got up this morning, had my cup of coffee, started watching the news, and a question arose in my mind. What is the difference as far as the outcome with regards to the population itself, the well-being of the citizenry of the United States, between an oligarchic system on the one hand, which we're presented with by Donald Trump, and democracy? So I got on with Chat-GPT, an old friend of mine, meeting several weeks, and I asked him, could you please lay out in a rational manner, based on actual facts, historic facts, of the efficacy between democracy and oligarchic, or king's rule, as it were in the old days, as far as the outcome for the citizenry at large? What follows is what he told me. Introduce Chat-GPT.
Democracy with worker-owned production versus oligarchic rule, a practical comparison. If the objective is the greatest good for the greatest number, democracy with worker-owned production and oligarchic rule represent fundamentally different economic and social models. Their practical differences manifest in wealth distribution, economic stability, social cohesion, and long-term sustainability. In worker-owned enterprises, profits are distributed among those who produce them rather than concentrated in the hands of a small elite. This structure leads to a more equitable economy, reducing wealth disparity and ensuring that workers have direct control over their financial well-being. In contrast, oligarchic rule consolidates wealth among a privileged few, creating vast income gaps that lead to widespread poverty and economic instability. Worker owners have a vested interest in efficiency and innovation, as their prosperity depends on the success of their enterprise. This often results in higher productivity, long-term planning, and resilience in economic downturns. Under oligarchic rule, incentives are distorted. Executives prioritize short-term gains, stockholder profits, and monopolistic practices, often at the expense of workers and consumers. Democracy in the workplace extends participatory governance to the economy, reinforcing political democracy. Worker-owned businesses encourage cooperation, accountability, and collective decision-making, fostering a more engaged and stable society. Oligarchies, by contrast, centralize decision-making among a select few, often leading to policies that serve elite interests while disregarding the needs of the majority, resulting in widespread discontent and social unrest. When workers have control over production, there is a greater incentive to prioritize sustainability as they live within the communities affected by their industries. Oligarchic systems driven by the pursuit of maximum short-term profit often exploit resources unsustainably, externalizing environmental costs onto the public. Decentralized, worker-owned enterprises are more adaptable to crises, as decision-making is localized and rooted in long-term community well-being. In contrast, oligarchic economies rely on centralized control, which can lead to systemic failures when crises expose the fragility of profit-driven models. In conclusion, democracy with worker-owned production aligns economic power with the majority's well-being, ensuring equitable wealth distribution, social stability, and sustainable development. oligarchic rule by concentrating power and wealth prioritizes the interests of the few, often leading to economic inefficiency, social unrest, and environmental degradation. If the goal is the greatest good for the greatest number, democratic worker ownership is the superior model.